Good afternoon and welcome to Give Up Worry for Lent, Day 16. Happy Thursday, everybody. Fear versus worry. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink. And he cried out, "Lord, save me." Matthew 14:30. Sometimes we believe that being afraid is the same thing as worrying, and that's completely untrue. Fear is an emotion and worry is an action. One can control and the other we can't. The goal of this book is to help you stop worrying and not to keep you from being afraid. Before we dig into the Bible verse, let's take a closer look at fear and worry. Fear is an emotion, sometimes referred to as a feeling or passion, that occurs when you feel threatened in some way. And while this threat can be a real or imaginary, the important thing to remember is that you can't control the feeling. According to the Catechism, in themselves, passions are neither good nor evil. And that's dated back to 1767. And it takes some pressure off, doesn't it? Fear in itself is a moral neutral. In other words, do not be afraid to be afraid. In the Bible, many holy people experience fear, including Abraham, Moses, Mary, Joseph, and Paul. It's not a sin to be afraid. What about worry? The dictionary typically defines it as a way to anxiety or uneasy, or allowing one's mind to dwell on difficulty or trouble. Although it may not feel like it at times, worrying is a voluntary action. You can choose not to worry. This is an extremely important concept to understand. You can't control the way you feel, but you can control how you respond to your feelings. St. Peter was a fisherman and knew that it was not possible to walk on water. He was also a disciple of Jesus Christ and a witness to many miracles. Therefore, when the Lord invited him to get out of the boat and walk on water, Peter obeyed. As long as he stayed focused on Jesus, he remained above sea level. But when he began to concentrate on the waves crashing around him and the wind, however, Peter became afraid and then began to sink. He took his eyes off Jesus, basically. Now, if the story ended there, it would have been a terrible example of how to respond to fear, but Peter reacted to the fear by crying out to the Lord, "Lord, save me." And that was a prayer. In his fear, Peter turned to Jesus instead of worrying. And that is exactly what we should do. What would you do? Think about it. Are we sometimes afraid when we shouldn't be? Absolutely. Let's put that aside for fear for now and focus on how we should respond to fear in our lives. Once again, I ask you to think of your fears and maybe be uncomfortable. It might be necessary. Then picture Jesus standing in front of you and use the prayer composed by St. Peter when he was thinking, "Lord, Lord, save me." Amen. Have a great Thursday, everybody. And hey, be good to one another. Amen.